Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pack Leader Podcast. Joined here with BB and Benny G. How we doing, boys?
Doing great.
Doing okay.
Awesome. How you guys holding up after the crazy weekend of regionals that we had?
Definitely a little hectic, nerve-wracking at times, but honestly, I think it's the best we've wrestled all year. A couple guys came up just a hair short, had 4 qualifiers. Obviously that's good, but a couple guys that were right there on the brink of qualifying, and a few guys who maybe weren't as close, but still wrestled really well. So it was again collectively the best I think we've wrestled all year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to talk more about that. In general, regionals is one of those tournaments where, I mean, your highs are super high, your lows are super low, and it's really not much in between.
Right.
Because you're going or you're not. But it was crazy in our region. I think it was crazier in some other regions too. Like LaRon Parks not qualifying out, and he's a heavyweight. I think he was number 1 in the country.
Yeah.
For
Caden Henschel,
Yep.
Midwest champ.
Also number 1 in the country.
Yep.
Wyatt Turnquist, a couple guys, just dogs from regions not getting out and making a national tournament. So it was crazy for us, but it was I think it's safe to say crazy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I am excited though to rock some fresh gear. Went
Yes.
down to the Adidas outlet.
Yep. Went to the employee store up in Greenville. Lots of fresh gear on the way for the qualifiers and us as well.
Definitely. And for guys that don't know, we about an hour away is the Adidas HQ, and luckily Newberry College gets a 50% discount off. So every year we get the guys a nice little care package that qualify. That's a trip me, him, and Sai usually make every year, a tradition we like doing. So
Yes.
Did that, but I wanted to jump into, normally at this point we would go into all things Newberry Wrestling, but as you can see, we got our guest, Ben Guilliam, here for our Pack Leader segment. We so often highlight the guys that are in the starting lineup or highlight guys who, are in national rankings, but I think it's really important to highlight guys who are also just crushing it in general. And Ben was in our starting lineup last year too. He's our starting 133-pounder, and he's certainly a leader for us on and off the mat. So I was trying to think about if we wanted to go the alumni route for this one, or if we wanted to do the qualifiers, and for whatever reason, Ben, you were the first person that came to mind. So I reached out to him yesterday to see if he could join us, and he didn't have class, so I was like, I'll see you at 9:30. But anyways, Ben, tell everybody where you're from, man.
I'm from Somerville, South Carolina, and I graduated from Somerville High School in 2023.
Nice. And for those that don't know, he also went to Somerville. So they were when I coached at 4D, y'all were kind of the rival.
Oh yeah, it's still like that.
Is it?
There's still a rivalry there.
Nice. I'll just throw this out.
Ford likes to think they're all right.
Hey, I'll just say when I was a coach there, we won the duel that year. So, but not traditionally, they definitely got the upper hand. So you came in last year was your true freshman year, and I want to talk a little bit about what made you choose Newberry in the first place.
Really, it came down to the environment. Everyone here made me feel like family right on my visit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got along with the coaches way better than anywhere else I was looking at.
Nice.
And overall, it just came down to the atmosphere and the program.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the program, kind of like the ethics they have and kind of how their routine kind of followed my style very well.
Awesome, man. What were some of the other schools you were looking at as you were coming out of high school?
Citadel was one of them, and I'd say the other big one was Belmont Abbey. Belmont Abbey was up there as well.
Okay. Definitely glad we didn't lose you. Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah. And so fast forward, you end up choosing Newberry, and come out here. And, I don't know if in your mind you thought you were going to be the guy at 133 pounds, but I mean, you ended up being our starter and had a really solid season. I think you ended up placing at regionals last year.
Yes, sir.
Talk to everyone a little bit about, takeaways from your freshman year, things you learned, and things that you've been going into your redshirt year, you've been focusing on.
Things I learned from last year, especially, is kind of embrace the grind. Like, there's some times, especially in January, where we'd go to national duels and then come back and wrestle region matches. It was hard making weight and, just preparing for each and every match. But you just kind of have to learn to embrace it, and that, hey, not everybody gets the opportunity to wrestle at a collegiate level. Mm-hmm. So you got to be thankful for it. And some technical things I learned from last year that I've been working a lot this year is bottom. I was underdeveloped last year in bottom. Just got rode out. So I've been working a lot on different moves and also just put chain wrestling on bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And also developing a little bit more of my tool bag in neutral last year. So every match I hit at least probably 2 or 3 sweep singles. Not, I might score 1 or 2 of them, but other than that, I needed to develop more.
Yeah.
So I've developed a nice little low double.
Yeah.
Getting a high crotch
I'll be
going.
telling everybody that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But it is coming along nice, man. That's awesome. And so your redshirt year here, you feel like you've been making those strides though, and those improvements?
Yes, sir, 100%. I've improved a lot on bottom, and starting to increase my tool bag on neutral too. So that's always good.
Yeah, I think one thing that's been helping you is the attention to detail you've been placing on your strength training. Me and him tell recruits all the time, like, in high school you're wrestling a 14 to an 18-year-old high school student child, and then you come to college and you're wrestling an 18 to a 23-year-old. The year you were here, there was a 30-year-old behind you at 133, and then there was a 30-year-old that we had in the lineup at 184. So you going from wrestling, children to grown men. So even if you got good chain wrestling on bottom, if you don't got the horsepower, you ain't getting up. You know what I mean? Because that guy doesn't have to really execute a whole lot of technique to just use grown man strength, for lack of better words. So I think you're going to see a lot of strides just because you've been filling out and putting some muscle in the frame and working on your strength training.
Yes, sir. I think so.
But yeah, so I wanted to shift gears a little bit. Tell me what your major is.
Business administration major.
Oh, and talk to everybody about what you want to do with that, what you see yourself doing career-wise.
Career-wise, so for the last 3 years, I've been working for a contracting/engineering company, and I've started to learn a lot about the industry and the career field. So hopefully I can turn into, a project manager or one day start my own contracting company is the goal along the line.
Awesome. I know a wrestling program needs a roof, so if we're still in need, I'll be hitting you up, man. If you want to throw something our way. And no, I know me and you've talked about that quite a few times, so it's good to know that you're still on that same trajectory. And I mean, all roads seem to be leading to you, graduating at the top of your class. I mean, you're academic All-American last year.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you'll be again this year based on the amount of matches you had. So I think, what do you got, like a 4.0?
Pretty close to. I think it is a 4.0 now.
Okay, nice. Better than me when I was in
Way
college.
better than me.
Remember we were looking up on so we still got access to our Wolf Den, or at least we used to.
Yeah.
And not too long ago, we looked up what our GPAs were when we graduated.
We graduated, coach.
We made it out. Wasn't a 4.0, but we made it out. So, but no, it's awesome to see you crush it. And one of the biggest things you said that stuck out to me, that a lot of our guys, even on our team, are still learning to develop is that sense of gratitude, in the grind. It sucks, especially that national dual stint we had. We competed before we left, the weigh in there, I think maybe a 2-day break, weigh in there, back-to-back weigh-ins when you're at national duels, get on a plane, fly back, a couple days weigh in again. So that was really going through the gauntlet. But you as a true freshman to have that perspective of gratitude, like, I have the opportunity to do what so many want to do. I mean, that speaks a lot to you, just the character and just to, having the right mindset.
Yes, sir.
So, what's your favorite part about being at Newberry?
Favorite part? I would have to say, get like wrestling related or just anything.
Anything, really?
I'd say hanging out with teammates, team bonding stuff. I really enjoy hanging out with my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Have a lot of fun with them, so that's always nice. Makes you enjoy the process more.
Definitely. You like the people you're around. Who's your vote for handball MVP?
Me.
I like it. Hey, you haven't stepped in your game up here lately.
He's like a sneaky little sniper. You won't be expecting, and then boom.
It's so for people who don't know that are listening, we probably play handball every single day.
Just proud.
I say we, them. I can't throw, catch, or anything that's involves hand-eye coordination, but they play. And Ben's been getting after it lately.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw you score like 3 or 4 goals in the game last week. So I don't know. I'm gonna put a poll out this year and group me instead of just because usually I pick the MVP, but I think this year I'm gonna put a poll out with like top 5 people and I'm gonna let the people vote. Who you got winning?
I don't know. I think it's there's some different styles, so it's kind of like certain things work against certain goalies better. Certain things, I don't know. certain teammates work better with each other. So there's days that Rita had the best day ever, and then days that he struggled to have any goals. Dennis is up there consistently.
Yeah.
Dayton's he does it all. He plays a lot of defense as well. So, yeah, I think there's arguments for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I'll make them. Did y'all play handball at Somerville before games or before practice?
No, we didn't. We played a little bit of dodgeball every here and then.
Yeah, y'all don't like dodgeball like that anymore.
No, I like handball. Handball's a lot more fun.
I put the dodgeballs out and y'all like, nah, we want to play handball today. So, hey, whatever gets you wrong. I just like it because, running in a circle to warm up gets pretty old pretty quick. So it's a good way to warm up and not have to do the usual. So, no. But I wanted to shift gears here one more time and talk about, we're obviously recruiting right now. Season's over for South Carolina and for a lot of states. The ones in Jersey are going on right now. JUCO National Tournament is going to be happening this weekend. For all of the recruits that are on the cusp or considering coming to Newberry, outside of maybe some of the things you've already mentioned, what advice would you give them as they're exploring options for college, and why should they choose Newberry?
Some options or some advice I would give is you got to go where it fits in best, where it feels right. So, for example, I don't know, part of me just had a gut feeling that Newberry was the place for me, and I just acted on it. And two is you got to look at the academic side. I mean, yes, wrestling is very important, and it is one of my main priorities in my life. But you also got to realize college is setting you up for your entire life. So, for example, I'm saying, let's say you really want to go to this school, but they don't have what you want to study. You really got to weigh in those options. Thankfully, Newberry is the place I wanted to go wrestling-wise, and they had what I wanted to do. But it's very important to look at the academic side of it. And I would say Newberry is the best option because, one,
You hang out with me every day.
exactly, so you get to hang out with Blanton every day. And the professors, honestly, they care about you. The professors here they very much care about your learning path and being set up for when you leave college. And the wrestling wise, I know my coaches always got my back, and they're always looking after my best interest. So I really think Newberry is a great place to be.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and I think we got a lot of things to figure out at 133 next year, depth wise, and that's a good problem for a program to have. Any program that wants to contend for a national title as a team has to have that kind of depth, and I think you are doing all the right things. So I'm excited to see you next year and all of your hard work pay off, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Definitely. So appreciate you joining us, everyone. Ben Guilliam, one more time, and next year you'll be going into your redshirt, I guess, sophomore year. So we are lucky enough to get this guy for 3 more seasons, and looking forward to seeing him make a lot of noise.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool, Ben. We'll see you, dude.
Alrighty.
So he's going to go be a good student athlete, and we're going to awkwardly transition here into the next block. So I'll see you.
See you, Coach.
Hey, Ben's the man.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. He always tells him, I don't know, you always be like, you built like Joe Biden. This is a joke he'll always tell Ben, but you ain't gonna be able to tell him that.
Nah, he's been part of that breakfast club. They're in there every morning when I get there.
Yeah.
So
And they'll go after 6 a.m.s as well. So we'll have a 6 a.m. lift. Oh, you're good. Come grab it. We'll have a 6 a.m. lift, and we'll go 6 to 7. And usually I'm pulling up, like, let's take Tuesday for example. I usually meet with Caden Peltz for a one-on-one at 7:15. By the time I get there at 7:15, they're already over there.
already going.
Lifting coming from a lift.
Right.
So,
When I drop my kids off at school about 7:35, 7:40 every morning and come straight to the room, and they're well into a lift by the time, like, every day. So
yeah.
and
No.
he's part of that group. He's never not there. So I mean, and you can see it. I mean, his sleeves aren't so baggy anymore. Shirt's starting to fit him.
Yeah, Scorzelli mentioned that today. We were in the lift this morning. Scorzelli like, hey man, he started to fill out. I was like, he's been getting after it.
Normally he looks like a coat hanger.
But yeah, so really excited to have him back next season for a good year, and I'm glad he could join us for the podcast. But I wanted to jump into the next block, all things Newberry Wrestling. Will you hit us with a pin pull update?
Yeah, so we are up to 87 pins on the season, which is unfortunately back more around the average. Last year we crushed it with almost 110. It was like 107 or something like that. 87 this year. Hopefully we have a big showing at nationals.
Did get 11 at regionals though. That's got to be higher than normal.
Yeah, I think normally we're in about the 80 ballpark.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get to 90. Three at nationals or more would be great. John Parker leads the way with 17 as expected. Schrader, big day. He bumped his number up. He's up to 9. And Kale Alderman is at 7. So those are the top 3. Schrader still has the fastest of the year, the one that he's had since Midwest. In the championship round 2, he pinned Laith Ibrahim of Colorado Mines in 25 seconds. Second fastest, tied, new to the list is Nick Humphreys. He pinned Isaiah Mulwee of Allen in 43 seconds, and that ties with Schrader's 43 seconds at the region championship. So both of those are fairly recent, and again, no one's touching Kale's 25 seconds. So maybe NCAA's would be a great place to pin somebody like 12 seconds.
That's the place to do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it there. And I'd have to imagine that Nick's pin was from a 3/4.
It had been.
I don't recall it, but if it was anything, it was probably that.
We're still at $453 a pin. So, hey, one last push, guys. Let's get to 500. Tell your friends. And again, this is probably our biggest fundraiser. So thanks to everybody who is participating and contributing. Huge year. Last year was probably the highest dollar amount, which we know why, because we wrestled if they hit a number. But being close to that number this year at 453 and having a slightly above average number of pins is another huge year.
Yeah, definitely. We should ask Cy what number it would take for him to wrestle.
We should.
Yeah, we'll report back. we'll ask him and get back to you. But yeah, no, it's been a great year. And I wanted to talk a little bit because maybe at this point in the season, honestly, this kind of a last call for if you want to support the pin pool. But maybe you just don't want to, or you would rather give more specifically to the program in terms of like what needs we need most immediately. You want to tell them a little bit about splash items and how that works?
So we call them splash items because it's the pin pool. Basically, if you want to see your dollars at work, if you want to, in high school, my parents did the same thing. They actually bought those black singlets that Summer had. My parents actually donated those because it's like, I don't want to donate $1,000 and it just pays for like a night in a hotel room for, or something like that. So if you want to see your dollars at work and you want to be able to kind of know like how you're contributing, especially in some of these physical ways, it's going to be contributing long term. So it is on the monthly emails, correct? The pin pool splash items. There are things that we can use. There are weightlifting. A new dumbbell set.
Yeah, I got the list right here.
Treadmills,
washer dryer.
Things that just we need as a program that are going to last us for a decade or more. Those are the items that are big budget items that our operating budget would take a hit if we had to pull from there for some of these items. But like this year, we got the new warm-ups. We're doing things like this every year with our operating budget. So basically a nice way to supplement that with, just go all in on one item. That's kind of what the idea is with the pin pool splash items. So if anybody's interested in helping us that way, check the emails that Coach sends out, and the pin pool splash items are listed on there. Anything that, maybe you just have a passion for that type of item. Maybe you're big into weightlifting, you want to help us that way, or whatever, or maybe something kind of is right around the budget you're looking to help us with. But whatever the case may be, that's what that is. And we would love some help with those items.
Definitely appreciate that, Coach. And like I said, just a quick clarification. I should have been putting these in the emails. I have not been putting them in. In there. I know Alex and Ryan and y'all sent out that article, but we definitely haven't been promoting it. So I thought it was definitely worth a few moments to take and just talk a little bit about what.
Put a link on the website.
Yeah, sweet. Works for me. So yeah, we'll get that link to the website as well. But be looking out for that in my monthly emails moving forward, because those are definitely some pretty specific needs that we have.
Oh, and shout out to Caden Peltz's dad, Bernie, who helped us out with the first splash item. Got us 2 new iPads and tripods and cases and all that stuff, so that we've been able to film every match. And we always go and find them on Flow or Track or whatever. But sometimes if a guy didn't have a Flow account or whatever the case may be, bad angles, whatever, like we know we've got a guy filming every match. So that's been a huge help. So thank you, Bernie.
Yeah, and we use them every day, especially like in one-on-ones. I mean, we've been using them a lot, so that's been huge. So thank you. Moving on, I wanted to talk about coaching staff updates. We got Riley Alderman, who's joined our coaching staff as a volunteer assistant wrestling coach. Kind of a fun full circle moment. I coached Riley when I was at King University as the head coach, and he sustained a season-end injury, which, later on in his career, he decided to just focus on finishing up school. Fast forward, Kale Alderman gets on our radar, and that's his brother. He's our starting 149 pounder. And while I'm at Newberry, we recruit him here. Long story short, Riley's like, I want to coach. And I'm like, well, come on down, man.
Yeah.
So we got him hooked up over in admissions, and he's working there, but also working with us. And actually just had a really good touch base yesterday on kind of what his roles and responsibilities would be with the team. So he's going to be huge when it comes to scouting. He's going to be running practices as needed. He's going to be assisting with lifts, with study halls, with really just any kind of day-to-day operations that his schedule will allow. And it's nice to have him in admissions because as he's traveling to do his job, if we got guys that we're recruiting and he can go get some face-to-face time, that's going to be awesome too.
Right, and even little things like yesterday, something came across his desk that he thought we should take a second glance at. He's like, hey, coach, might want to just do a quick transcript develop on this kid just to make sure that he's got all the core courses he needs. So, and he did, but having a guy who knows the situation, who kind of has his hands on that stuff, I think is going to be a huge step. Just making sure all of our guys who are coming in get and stay eligible, and just all those little things that are tough for us to do because it requires sending emails or walking across campus for this, that, and the other. So having him, in place right there is huge.
Definitely. And I don't know about you, but I turn 35 next month. So to have him to help with all these one-on-ones,
right.
my body will appreciate it too. That's what I'm most excited about because he'll definitely be assisting with that too. One-on-ones in terms of just after practices, before practices, on weekends. And as you know, we talk about it all the time. That's where our guys really see the most strides. Is getting in that room and focusing on very specific things that they're deficient in and that they need to work on. So welcome, Riley. You can be looking out for his bio and also his headshot on the website. We'll get him added up there, but really excited about his addition to the program.
Absolutely.
Next up, recruiting class of 2026, shaping up really nicely so far.
It's coming along, Coach.
Biggest pickup we just had, and I say biggest, but the big pickup that we just had is Ricky Springs. He's a 4-time state champion from Fort Dorchester High School in South Carolina. And it was he did a really cool thing in the finals where when he won it, he pulled out this Newberry polo, and it was just a big moment. It was on the news, and it's really exciting time for us. So
yeah, that was a big time. And Ricky's been coming to camps for years, and with Nick Young and Andrew Young down there, I mean, I feel like
it was
they were nudging him.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean,
we had some help there.
Yeah, definitely, and appreciate the help. But he also is a high level guy, so I know he's been looking at a lot of like prep opportunities that could kind of help him springboard to Division I. He's also considering like the Citadel, some other and conference opponents too. So while I felt like he was maybe being nudged in this situation, I also know he had other options, which made me a little nervous.
When you're a 4-time state champion, you have options.
Yeah. So he is great pickup. Welcome, Ricky. Also want to welcome Bryant Blanton, another guy who comes to camp, hammer out of Georgia, 2-time state champ, just won his second one, and in Georgia at 157. Wanted to talk about Kane Bryson and welcome him as well. He's a 2-time finalist and 1-time champ from Pisgah, North Carolina. And if you want to pick up with Gage Summers.
Yeah, Gage from Delsey in New Jersey. They're actually starting their state tournament today, I believe. Yep. So good luck out there to Delsey and Gage especially. Cooper McCoy from Sumter right here in South Carolina. He's with us as well. And another New Jersey guy, Antonio Reyes. He's from Haddon Township. So, we'll be looking for him to do well today. And then Jeremiah Venning. He actually didn't finish the season this year at towards ACL, I believe, but had a season-ending knee injury, and he's out of Ashley Ridge, so he doesn't have, a state title or something this year to talk about. But he was at our duels camp and ended up being an all-star match, and I mean he's a hammer. So and he's a bigger guy. He's gonna be in the 84-97 ballpark.
Yep.
So he's gonna be a dog for us here in the near future, and I'm really excited about the list that we've got so far. We got a couple other guys that we're still talking to, so recruiting season really is just getting started.
I know for us, especially for the guys who are like you said, got options, right? Like they do a thing where I'm gonna wait until after the state tournament and make sure that like if I crush it, I'm gonna wait till the national tournament and there's extra scholarship out there. Like I want that, as they should, you know what I mean? So that's why really everyone is always like, NCAA tournament's over, you excited to take a break? And I'm like, it's certainly a change in pace, but it's not
a different type of break.
Yeah, but it's a different type of break because that's when recruiting picks up.
Yep.
But yeah, excited to see that class of 26 start to, or continue to shape up. And I don't know why I keep saying 26. It's technically 25.
Yeah, class 25.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, their first year will be the 25-26 year, and that's how we have to list them in the thing.
Right.
The NCAA database thing that we have to use. So that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, great group. I mean, this is the strongest class this early, I think, that we've had that I can remember.
Yeah, definitely, and we're still chomping at the bit. So I'm excited to keep moving forward. All other announcements and reminders we got as we're talking about all things Newberry Wrestling. Our wrestling club is going to be firing up on Wednesday, April the 6th. We're going to start with that. I'm all over the place. It's Wednesday, April the 3rd. Wednesday, April the 3rd. Correction. We're starting with our Newberry Wrestling Club. It'll be the second year that we've done it. We had a really good interest meeting probably about 2 weeks ago. Room was full of people that came to check it out, which was really exciting. They came to meet John Parker, who will be a coach. Also, Andrew Reed will be a coach there. And I think we're going to get some really good participation. So if you are in or around the area and you're looking for a spring/summer wrestling opportunity that keeps you engaged, with also some options to compete on the freestyle Greco circuit, please come check us out at a really affordable rate. It's only $10 a practice. So you can come join us for that, for some good coaching from guys who are doing it. 2 guys that'll be at the NCAA tournament and really know what it's about.
And that, just to clarify, that is with your USA Wrestling card.
Yes, with your USA Wrestling card.
And so get your USA Wrestling card, $10 practice. Also, not sure on the date exactly, but also in April, Weekend Warriors is going to start back up on Sundays.
April 13th.
13th.
Yep.
Okay, so Sunday, April 13th, and that'll be a every Sunday thing that is not directly part of the club, but kind of runs in conjunction with the club. So that'll be another opportunity, especially like that. That gets real popular, especially with the high school guys, especially as they gear up for NHSCAs or Fargo type stuff.
Super 32.
Super 30, yeah, all those events where they're trying to get that last little bit of extra training, kind of the last minute, kind of coming in, and maybe they practice at another club or they practice with their school during the week and coming to us on Sunday. So look for the Newberry Wrestling Club and Weekend Warriors, but starting up in April.
Yep. And if you want to pre-register for that, you can go to newberrywrestlingcamps.com and you'll see pre-registration for there. Weekend Warriors is just, come session by session basis. So that's cash or check if you want to come. But you can just pop in for that. You don't have to pre-register. Also on newberrywrestlingcamps.com is a link to the registration for all of our wrestling camps. Technique camps on the 21st through the 25th of June. We'll have our Takedown Elite camp, and then we'll have our Master on the Mat camp. And then if you want to stay and roll over into our competition camp, we'll have the Vantage Wrestling Duels on the 25th through the 27th. And so really looking forward to another good stint. We have been basically sold out for the last 2 or 3 years. So I would recommend definitely go ahead and register now, because we did start to fill up towards the end of the spring last year. So newberrywrestlingcamps.com is where you can find that.
And if you are an individual, like your team's not coming to camp, but you want to come wrestle on, like in the duels portion of the camp, you come and we'll just put you on we'll create like a house team, or we'll find a team that needs your weight. So if you're an individual whose team's not coming, don't let that deter you from coming.
Yeah, and traditionally we've had 2 house teams. We've had
we have enough extra that we have like 2 house teams, and we're still farming some other house kids out to teams that need. We'll find a spot for you and you'll get matches.
Yep.
And it's like 10 to 15 matches, basically, depending on number of teams and pools and rotations and all that. But yeah, you'll get matches for sure.
And if you got any questions on that, obviously you can find our contact info on the website. You can also reach out via social media as well. Next up, wanted to jump into a competition update. Really haven't done anything other than Super Region 2 championships, which is the big one, man. Like you said, we qualified 4 for the NCAA championships. We had 7 placers. Hunter McCullough took 6. Braden Tatum took 3rd. Dennis took 5th. Dayton took 4th. Reed took 1st. John took 1st. And Kel Schrader took 3rd.
Yep, great weekend for, like I said, it's the best we've wrestled. Hunter's one of the ones who sticks out a lot because the amount of times that he's been winning big, he'll be up like 8-0, 12-0, 10-1, something, and he was finding a way to get pinned, and it was crazy because it's like, and then he's down on himself. He's, I'm not any good. It's like, dude, you don't build a 10-point lead in a college wrestling match if you're not any good.
Right.
You got to figure out a way to avoid the disaster. And he showed up. He looked great. Ethan looked great.
Yeah.
Dennis, who we've known how good he is all year, but really kind of, I think, jumped over a couple hurdles and turned the corner a little bit.
I had 2 separate coaches come up to me and ask me who he was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the same dude who was here all year.
Yeah.
But he really turned the corner a little bit, in my opinion, this weekend. But yeah, we wrestled really well. A point that you've made several times to the guys is, we finished above some of those teams that we lost to during the year.
Yeah.
So, that shows you sort of the strides we were making and the way our guys were able to put it together when it counts.
Yeah, definitely. We lost to Mount Olive this year, and I think they finished sixth. We also lost to Belmont Abbey, and they finished fourth below us. The only two teams that finished ahead of us was Pembroke, who we beat, and then Lander. So we finished third with 109 points. And what, like you said, not only did we wrestle our best, but it was just good to see such a young squad shake off the losses. When things didn't go the way they wanted them to, and then come back on the backside and not only win but score bonus. I think Hunter got bonus in both of those matches on the backside, and that's huge. I think that's what helped us finish in third, is stuff like that.
Yeah, and not only bounce back from the losses at the tournament, but a couple of losses from during the season were avenged as well. So really just kind of coming full circle and having the confidence. Seeing where the confidence should be. Basically, I was beating this guy, got caught, let me go prove that I'm the better wrestler, that sort of thing. But no, they really wrestled well. And one thing that gets overlooked a lot, and when you're coaching and you're in it and you're in the grind and you have high expectations, it can be frustrating and you can forget a little bit. But 60% of our starting lineup is freshmen.
Yeah.
We got a freshman everywhere from 125 to 165.
And one of them, the 65, is a 49.
Right. So, things could be worse.
Yeah, no, it could be. I mean, there are a lot of teams, some teams didn't qualify anybody. And so definitely not where we want to be. We want to be winning a region championship for sure. But all things considered, based on the season that we've had, I certainly think that we showed up and had one of our best moments of the year. And for those guys who aren't going to the national tournament, even though your season's over, they can pick up, starting right now and build on all the positives from this past weekend. So I'm excited for them. I'm also excited to get a lot of these guys off the injury reserve so they can get back in the room and continue training with these guys, because we say it all the time, iron sharpens iron. So a lot of positives to build on as we go into the NCAA tournament, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But before we do, you want to hit us with a brief update on the open mat rankings that just came out.
Yeah, so open mat just posted new rankings. Tatum has made an appearance in the rankings at number 17. He's our 141 pounder. He took third to qualify. Andrew Reed at 184 is ranked number 13, and he's kind of been hovering in that, ranked, but not
19, 20.
Yeah, not high up in the rankings. So moving up to 13 is pretty good for him. John Parker's up to 9. I think he was maybe 10 or 12 last time. Mm-hmm. And Schrader makes an appearance in the rankings at number 18. So all four of our guys who have qualified have made their way into the rankings. So that's good to see. And the open mat, I think, is one of the better ranking agencies or whatever, because I think they just do a better job of, or at least they do a good job, in my opinion, of taking sort of the body of work and not relying too much on like a previous ranking or regional bias. I think they tend to give us a little bit of love, and I appreciate that, because I think they actually do give us the credit that we deserve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and NWCA, their rankings are out, and those are, we have John Parker at number 9, and he holds steady because he was there last time. And since we were talking about rankings, I definitely wanted to do just a quick little NCAA tournament preview. Obviously, we just kind of told you who we have ranked in the country, but I thought it was worth it to at least go and give everyone an idea of what the top 5 teams were going into the tournament. St. Cloud, in the most recent rankings that came out on February 24th, and this is the Coaches Association's rankings. St. Cloud with 96.5 points is ranked number 1. Nebraska Kearney is not a close second with 70 points. They have 8 individuals ranked. 68 points. In third place is Parkside. UCO comes in 4th with 66.5 points, and then Glenville State comes in 5th with 61 points. And like we said, there was a lot of craziness that happened this past weekend, so I'm interested to see how that affects the team race. For example, LaRon Parks is one of the 9 individuals that they had ranked.
Right.
He's not going to be scoring points for them now. You know what I mean? And how does that affect that basically 25 point difference there between first and second, and even the tight race between 5th and 3rd, like with some of those guys not having, like Parkside, they're 33, and Henshaw didn't make it. So,
right.
Are they going, how's that,
Yeah. I mean, however it shakes out in the rankings, it's just the rankings, because the rankings going into regionals, Henshaw was ranked number 1 in the country. So obviously the rankings can shake out a little bit, but it all matters who straps it up and gets it done at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Number ones at each weight class going into it as of right now. Again, after this weekend, a lot of these will change. But at 25, Stud Morris was ranked number one at 33, and he's from UCO. At 133, Reese Barnhart was number one at 33. At 41, Caden Henshaw, who we just mentioned, huge guy. I don't know if y'all are watching, if you follow him on social media, you probably do. He's pretty viral. I mean, when he put up his last post about his season being over, he had guys like Bo Bassett. He had guys like Reese Humphreys, just like high level international guys commenting like, "Hey, you've been such an ambassador for the sport" type deal. So
yeah, he's got his own shoe.
Yeah, that's true. So most people probably know who he is. But anyway, he was number one going into the tournament. Chris Donovan from Grand Valley, number one at 49. Joel Jessaroga. St. Cloud, who we're still mad at Reed about, is at 157, former Southeast Polk guy. 165, David Hunsberg from Landers, number one. Hayden Pummel at 74 from Glenville State. Ty McGeary, West Lib, 184. Dominic Murphy from St. Cloud at 197. And at heavyweight, Crew Howard from Kearney. One will be the number one guy. So updated rankings should come out here this weekend along with the brackets for the tournament. We have our seeding meeting here around noon. And then once that's all seeded, the brackets will be released tomorrow. And if you're watching, I'll be sure to get those out to you here with my email. That way you're prepared and ready to rock for a good tournament. So moving on, we already talked about Ben. I just wanted to jump into everything else. Coach, we're going to welcome back Devin Blackwell. Do you know him?
I did not know Devin Blackwell.
So he's been appointed as Assistant Dean of Student Affairs for Community Conduct and Standards. But he graduated from here in 2018, so I wasn't sure if you ran by him. This is if you recognize his face at all.
Okay, he looks familiar. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know him personally.
But just welcome him back to boost what we do over there in student affairs. I always like to support across campus and other departments when they bring back high quality hires. So excited for him. He came to our staff meeting earlier, and he seems to be bringing a lot to the table as far as what we do in student affairs. So looking forward to working with him. And then next up, I want to talk about what we got going on in college athletics. Alex and Ryan, y'all want to hit us with that?
I think there's an emphasis I'll go for the week.
All right, so the games of emphasis for March and April. On March 22nd, Saturday, we got softball versus Limestone at doubleheader at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. on Smith Road Complex. And then March 28th, which is Friday, we got baseball versus Coker at 6 p.m. also on Smith Road Complex. And then on Setzer Field, April 5th on Saturday, we got men's lacrosse versus Lenore Ryan at 4 p.m. And then April 23rd, which is a Wednesday, we got women's lacrosse versus Anderson at 4 p.m.
So I feel like they're kind of double dipping, counting a doubleheader as a game of emphasis. Can we discuss that? No, I'm just kidding. That's a smart way to do it.
Whichever one we win is the game.
We should have made like regionals the game of emphasis.
Right. You gotta be there all day. But yeah, this week in college athletics, Alex, tell us about that. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a busy week on the road, more so. Men's and women's tennis hosted Wingate. What was that, Tuesday or Monday? Unfortunately, both those teams fell there. Men's golf had a good showing at Lander. Softball and baseball both went down on Tuesday. Softball, Carson Newman, and baseball to 5th ranked in the country, North Greenville. And they're a strong team.
Yeah.
Yesterday, women's and men's tennis got postponed to today. We're actually about to head there after this. Women's lacrosse had a shootout against Belmont Abbey last night. That was a good one.
Nice.
Ryan and I were on the call for that. There
Very
was
intense game.
34 goals combined between the two teams.
Oh, wow. They got after it.
Yeah, that was a good one. Baseball's got a big series this weekend at Lenore Ryan, two strong teams. And then softball hosts Mars Hill at Smith Road this Saturday. Whole lot of Tusculum matchups with tennis facing Tusculum on the road and both of the lacrosse teams at Tusculum on Saturday as well.
Cool. And that's in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Cool. So good. Yeah. Well, good luck to everyone. I know y'all are really busy in the spring as we're gearing it up here. But we love to see all the Wolves do well, regardless of what sport you play. So hope you guys continue to crush it. And as we're wrapping up, I definitely wanted to mention the McCullough family. Please keep them in your prayers. They just lost their grandfather. The boys headed home, I think, yesterday. Me and Cole wrapped up with a one-on-one and they hit the road. So just be praying for them and keeping them in your thoughts. And coming up, like I said, we got the NCAA championships is what it's all about, man.
Yep. It'll be fun. It's in Indy, so we're familiar with the city at least, and then it's in a new venue that we haven't been in before. But Hopefully our guys will show up.
Yeah, and it's a festival year, so I know we mentioned that last time, but excited to check out some other sports. We actually fly out Tuesday, early Tuesday morning.
So
But it's because the opening ceremonies are Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. So I'm excited for our guys to experience that because I don't know that any of the 4 guys have been a part of a festival yet. So
right. And John and I did some research this morning.
Uh-huh.
So you know how
buffet.
do what?
It's a buffet at the opening ceremonies. But anyway,
Oh, I just got excited. So you know how Western is at like 8,000 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were just looking around at like Wichita is like maybe like 1,000 or something like that. Indy is like the same as us.
nice.
So say, I mean, whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
real close. So
Let's go.
we won't be able to breathe.
Yeah, that's helpful. So, if you are coming, you can get tickets. I recommend. I was actually talking to Reed's mom. She was emailing with me. You can get tickets from Susan Truix. Her number is 317-927-7617. And if you're a Penpool member, you've gotten the information from the last email that I sent you. But her email is struix@indianastatefair.com. There is a discount from going through her. I think it's an $8 discount. So, if you wanted an adult beverage, that's a good savings there to go get you one somewhere else
you go.
in celebration of the championships. But you can purchase all session tickets or single session tickets through her or through Ticketmaster if you prefer. I know that when I say she, Reed's mom, they got tickets for section 208. So in my emails and my correspondence, I let the guys know in our group chat to try to get your tickets in or around that section. That way we can have all the scarlet and gray right there together.
Yeah. And last year we had a pretty good group, and it was cool to be able to, if your kid wins a match or becomes All-American or something, you're not having to look around for mom or
see the
the whole crowd is right there all standing cheering for you. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, definitely. So look forward to seeing y'all out there and for a good showing out there. The guys are looking good. We're staying healthy and we're staying focused. So appreciate you tuning in. Remember, you can watch the podcast on YouTube, or if you're on the go, you can stream us with Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But appreciate you following. Don't forget to give us a look up on social media if you're not following us already. We'll see you next month.